Hello guys. Welcome back to GDT Tech Reviews. In this video we are going to do a detailed review and pick the top 5 best camera phones. So let us get started and the review based on our studies and small research. If you have any personal suggestion, do let us know in the comments section. If you are for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon for more videos. We will be also providing affiliates link to purchase from Amazon. Kindly use to for best offers and purchase from anywhere in the world. So let's get started. There's something very likable about the Google Pixel 4a's design. It's not flashy or in your face. In fact, it's the exact opposite, and yet it looks attractive. Google has used a unibody polycarbonate shell with a soft touch matte finish. It looks nice and doesn't attract fingerprints. The Pixel 4a is relatively slim at 8.2 mm and really light. At just 143 grams, the overall compact dimensions of the body and the rounded edges make it a very comfortable phone to handle. The Google Pixel 3a had an impressive set of cameras, not just for its segment, but in general. The Pixel 4a sticks to a single front and rear camera, with the same resolutions as their predecessors. The rear camera has a 12.2 megapixel sensor and an f1.7 aperture, dual pixel PDAF, and optical stabilization. The front camera uses an 8 megapixel sensor and has an f2.0 aperture. Sadly, there isn't a physical ultra-wide-angle rear camera like you get on the 5G variant of the Pixel 4a, and on most other phones at this price level now. However, Google hasn't skimped on camera features in software, which are mostly the same as what you'd get with the flagship Pixel 5. There's night sight, top shot, super res zoom, motion autofocus, and live HDR+. Frequent faces is a feature, which when enabled, is said to recognize and recommend shots that are focused on specific faces that you capture often, when selecting a top shot or motion photo. When shooting stills, the Google Pixel 4a lets you tweak the exposure. As far as the cameras are concerned, the Google Pixel 5 on the rear packs a 12.2 megapixel primary camera with an f1.7 aperture and a pixel size of 1.4 micron, and a 16 megapixel camera with an f2.2 aperture and a pixel size of 1.0 micron. The rear camera setup has phase detection autofocus. It sports an 8 megapixel camera on the front for selfies with an f2.0 aperture and a pixel size. Before we dive into the performance of the cameras, let's dissect OnePlus partnership with Hasselblad to understand the level of its involvement. You'll find the Swedish camera maker's branding everywhere, from the packaging to the back of the phone. Based on the way OnePlus has been marketing this partnership, many would assume that you're getting Hasselblad sensors or at least lenses with the OnePlus 9 series, which is actually not the case. For these two phones, Hasselblad has only helped tune the color processing algorithms of JPEG photos when you shoot in auto or pro mode. The color difference is noticeable in photos of people, as skin tones look warmer and a bit more natural compared to the colors produced by the OnePlus 8 Pro. This difference is amplified when shooting portraits of people under artificial light. For landscapes or other subjects, the difference is less pronounced. Hasselblad's influence is seen in the design of the camera shutter button too, which is now an orange dot, just like on Hasselblad cameras. However, this seems to be the extent of the benefit you can expect from this partnership on the 9 series. We could see deeper integration of Hasselblad's expertise in future OnePlus smartphones, but that's all conjecture for now. The OnePlus 9 Pro does have brand new rear sensors, which are said to be custom developed with Sony. The main camera has a 48 megapixel Sony IMX789 sensor with On the surface, it would seem that Apple hasn't changed the camera setup a whole lot compared to the iPhone 11 Pro. However, the iPhone 12 Pro does boast of some new features, and one in particular could just be a solid enough reason to get the 12 Pro. I am of course talking about the iPhone 12 Pro's ability to record Dolby Vision HDR video, which in my opinion, is a game changer. There's a toggle in the camera app's settings that lets you enable or disable this feature. When enabled, the iPhone 12 Pro lets you record up to 4K 60fps video in Dolby Vision HDR. This HDR format is becoming increasingly common even for budget TVs, and many streaming services now use it. Most of the Apple original shows on Apple TV Plus support Dolby Vision already. iPhones have long supported HDR playback, and the recent iOS 14.1 update even enabled 10-bit HDR. While the camera capabilities of the Galaxy S21 Ultra 5G remain largely similar to those of its predecessor, Samsung has reworked the implementation, especially of the telephoto cameras. There's a new generation 108-megapixel primary camera which does nanopixel binning, combining information from 9 pixels into 1, for more detailed 12-megapixel photos. There's a 12-megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera and 2 telephoto cameras. The latter both have 10-megapixel sensors, but with different types of optical zoom lenses. One has a 3x optical zoom, while the other is capable of 10x, with a periscope-style lens. There's no mention of hybrid zoom this time, however there's still some AI processing being applied at higher magnification levels. Samsung continues to market Space Zoom, which on the Galaxy S21 Ultra 5G, goes all the way to 100x. At such a high magnification, it can get very tricky to frame shots correctly.